But one a really good stat, and it's a stat that I recently learned from the team at AutoRank, and it was confirmed by the team at Future State. 65% of all direct bookings comes on the back of an OTA search, which is a phenomenal stat. So basically, what that means is that
break it down.
if you've got a future potential guest who is looking for a place to stay, they'll jump on Google, they'll jump on Bing or wherever. They'll even jump on a chat GPT. They're going to go to the brand that they recognize. Let's just say it is Airbnb, right? But what smart people are doing now is that they are branding their businesses in their Airbnb listing. So when the guest lands on the listing, they're going, oh, this property is by this. So, Neek Sleeps, for example, this is the Pink Pickle by Neek Sleeps. And they go and Google that. And when they Google that very specific keyword term, Pink Pickle by Neek Sleeps, guess what comes up? The direct booking website right at the very top. And the guest knows if they book direct, they get the best rate, especially this Gen Z generation. This is another TikTok trend that kicked off in 2024. There was a couple of content creators that started producing TikToks where they showed the Airbnb listing. If they reverse engineered the image, they could find the properties direct and they would book them direct. And those reels, they took off. Millions and millions of people saw them. And that's what has kicked off a Google Chrome extension called Directo, which is literally that. It's a Google Chrome extension. You install it on your computer as you're searching Airbnb. If the property that they're looking at is cheaper elsewhere, it pings up and says, hey, this is better if you book direct. And the consumer is getting smarter. They know that Airbnb isn't the only platform. They know that they can go and look elsewhere because they can get a better deal. And this is why 65% of all direct bookings come on the back of an OTA search, because we're not going to be able to compete with the spends of Expedia, Booking.com, Airbnb. They spend bazillions, right? And we're never going to do that. But how can we billboard by being on those sites? And that's like, that should be the fuel in everybody to go to their Airbnb listings and see how they can brand their name within it. You're not going to obviously go, hey, come to my www website for the best rates. That's going to get flagged, right? But if you can do it smart, if you can do it subtly, and you can do it right, and we've got amazing opportunities in the pictures, the description, and your bio, then you will naturally drive people to your direct booking site.
Yeah, so let's talk about who direct bookings are right for. And then we can wrap up this pod. For anyone at home, if you like this and you're like, I want more, don't worry. I've got a whole series. The next 2 or 3 videos on the channel will be around direct bookings. So if you would like to be informed and you're like, okay, I'm ready to learn the tangible step-by-step, click the subscribe button and the notification bell, and you're going to be informed whenever I drop my next one, which I'm telling you will be a banger. I will lay out for you all the mechanics. Now, let's talk about who direct bookings are right for. I know you're going to say everyone. For me, I'm talking about spending ads, and I'm talking about building a social presence and building a brand. I do not think that is necessarily correct for 100% of people. I actually think that's correct for a small fragment of people. I don't think that someone that owns a condo or a townhome in a random part of a metropolitan area should be taking out Facebook ads for their property. Not my belief. I think the brand building is more for people that have unique properties, for people that have maybe Funkit style properties, right? You can go to funkitinteriors.com, look at our portfolio. Everything is very Instagrammable, very viral-esque, scroll stopping, like that kind of stuff. I'm more on board with, for sure. You talk about just a regular kind of stick-built home. I don't think that running ads and direct bookings are going to play out the same way. I think the opportunity is, as a normal host with a condo, townhome, regular stick-built home, kind of like these medium-level places, I think the opportunity is the remonetization and recapture of sort of bringing your guests back as repeat as repeat guests. What do you think about that?
So I definitely agree. There are people that should be doing Facebook ads and people that shouldn't. If you know how to do it, it's like printing money, as you've proved. If you don't know what you're doing, it can just basically be taking money out and burning it, put it on fire.
I've done it many times.
Yep. I definitely feel like that. We talk about direct bookings like it is this section of the internet that is like like gold dust, right? It's when we're talking about direct bookings, it just simply means by going to somebody and saying, hey, book with us direct instead of going through Airbnb. And I think everybody can do that. And the reason why I believe that is that at Boostly, we've helped over 2,000 people now over the last 10 years, and they've generated $1 billion in bookings, and they are every corner and globe of the internet. They're from your tiny little motel bed and breakfast, as we call them here in the UK, to, you know, massive properties, to everything in between. And you can do a direct booking. It, you know, it literally can be as simple as something that doesn't cost any money. You just, you know, you can just say, hey, next time you book, come and book with us direct. Anybody can do that. You don't need a fancy website from us. You can literally put together a very simple landing page. You can, you know, get a very simple whatever put together, get a very cheap PMS. Like Guesty, a fantastic PMS, but there are on the premium end, because they are what they are. They've built that brand to be able to charge that. There are a lot of cost-effective ones that cost next to nothing. There's some that are pretty free, you know. So there are that. So you can definitely do it. And you either pay with money or you pay with time. And I keep coming back to it. You either pay with money or you pay with time. You either got loads of money and you haven't got a lot of time, so you pay someone to do it for you, or you haven't got a lot of money, but you've got a shit ton of time, so you put the time in. And now that time excuse isn't there. And I keep coming back to it, like the emergence of ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, whatever you're using, they're free to use. And it is like having the best virtual assistant, like Einstein level virtual assistant in your back pocket for free. And you can ask them to do more or less anything and they'll help you do it and they'll show you how to do it. And for that, I feel like anybody can do direct bookings. Doesn't matter what your skill level is.
So I agree with that. And maybe I need to clarify. I think direct bookings is a fit for literally every host that does short-term rentals.
Yeah.
What I don't think is necessarily something that a host should put a ton of effort in is social media and trying to make viral reels and then putting money on ad spend. If you don't really have properties that are going to be hyper clickable and like, you know, have a good CTR click-through rate. And like I said, I mean, it's done. People do this. That doesn't mean that I think that you shouldn't have. I think they should still have a direct booking website. But what I think the focus absolutely needs to be in these instances is that if you have a townhome, home, stick-built house, all these kind of more boring or plain or medium level, just whatever you want to call it, I think the opportunity is collecting the emails of your guests, putting them on an email list, and then trying to get your guests to come back. And then something, you know, a page out of your book. How do you get your guests to recommend your place to other people, right? How do you send them an email that says, hey, thanks, Mark, for staying at my property. Do you have any friends or family that would enjoy staying at it? If they come, I'm going to give them a discount and I'm going to give you a $50 referral. I think that's the game that like 50 to 70% of hosts need to be playing. And then kind of the more advanced marketing and some of the inner funnel workings are for more of those, you know, viral-esque or just really scroll stopping properties. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, 110% agree. Like, and this is why I've seen the emergence of Funkit over the years, and I can see why it's been so popular, because it is turning properties into these scroll stopping properties, and those are the ones that deserve to go viral because they look phenomenal and they look great. That makes a ton of sense. If you haven't got those sort of properties, and if you haven't got a storytelling background or a really interesting story to tell, then yeah, you should just be focusing on all the other aspects of marketing that there is out there that can drive direct. Because at the end of the day, it all depends on your avatar. It depends on who is coming to your area, who your demographic is, and who is your property best suited for. Once you figure out that, then you can go down all these different verticals and niches that are out there. And I look at Jesse Vasquez, ideal sort of candidate here.
Just about to say that, yeah.
Yeah, it's literally like he took his model and his properties. He realized they weren't going to be your Insta famous. He pivoted onto a niche which he knew, which was healthcare, and he's made an absolute killing out of it. He's sort of single-handedly brought the MTR strategy to life, and obviously it's like rolled 100%. With it. And every single one of his properties that he would argue, and maybe we would argue, would be like meh, but he's
Yeah.
built a fantastic portfolio on the back of it.
And you're right. So I was just about to say corporate housing. There comes a place where it makes a lot of sense if you are a midterm rental operator or a corporate housing operator, they're kind of the same thing. But like, if you're this person that has like this big, kind of midterm rental business and you're establishing contracts and relationships with all these different housing, providers and all that. I forget, there's like a bunch of them out there. But if you're establishing these contracts with hospitals and all of these placement agencies, you want a direct booking website. You want to say, hey, go to, hostcamp.com/Rob's listings. And that's where you're going to find all my long-term rental or all my midterm rental properties and the pricing. You don't want to send them to Airbnb because you're going to save them on fees. You will make more if you want to charge more. As long as you charge less than 15% fees, they're going to be happy and you're going to make more. So you have a very large kind of spread on how much more you can actually make. And there's a big reason why it would be financially beneficial for you to create a direct booking website. So there's definitely a play for everybody. Hey, by the way, if you liked this conversation, I've got good news for you. There's way more where that came from. If you want to watch the whole thing, click right here.